Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new and you're stopping by for the first time, welcome. I would love it if you'll become part of the family by clicking the red subscribe button and then tapping the bell and all to be notified every single time I upload. So for today, I have this Dollar Tree dupe. I saw this sign at Peebles. It was like 40 bucks and I knew I could make it over for less.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I want.
Okay, to start off, I got these 3 signs back around Valentine's Day. They had these out. Now they do have longer ones out for Easter and those would work as well. So I just start by taking my putty knife and I just slide it under and I take those metal hearts off because I can use them for something else. I then just go ahead and take the hangers and the tags off and I throw the hangers away, and I always save the metal hearts because I really actually like them and they are good quality. So I just line 2 signs up. You want to make sure your surface underneath is nice and flat. That way when we go ahead and put it together, then your sign is not uneven in the front. So where the love is, that's the back. So I just go ahead and take some large popsicle sticks and some hot glue, and I use that to hold them together. I don't recommend gluing down the seams because you will have glue on the front of your piece, and that's never a good thing. So after I have the first layer on, I go ahead and attach the next, and I do glue them long ways together, but you can see what I'm doing here. I also did want to mention too, I did put sticks over the holes because we're going to use this lightweight putty and go ahead and fill in those holes. Now I did get this putty from Dollar Tree, and you guys, I've had this for a while and I barely put a dent in it, and it's actually pretty good. It dries really fast. It says right on the jar, dries within minutes, and you can paint it. So after I fill my holes in, I have these wooden dowels. These are always linked down in my Amazon favorites. I love these for doing a frame around your projects, so I definitely recommend them. They're definitely worth the money. So I just go ahead and measure around the frame. I then put my next dowel right next to it, and then I just mark because each side is going to be the same, so you're going to have 2 of the same lengths and vice versa. So I then take my finger sander and I just go ahead and sand them off. The little mini miter saw that I use is also linked in my Amazon favorites. I use it all the time, and I use it right on my kitchen counter because it doesn't make very much dust and it's just really nice to have. So after I have all the ends sanded, I have my gloves on. Anytime you're working with stain, you definitely want to wear gloves. And I just dab the ends because the ends are pretty rough and they're kind of hard to stain unless you dab them. So after I did the ends, then I just go ahead with the rest of my dowels and I stain them. Now I like to use a paper towel, but you can use anything you want. A rag, a sock, sticky, I think it's called tacky cloth or something like that. But as I always say, it's your preference and it's your project, so you can do it how you like. So I set them aside once I'm all done staining, and I go ahead and work on my sign. Now I take some white Waverly chalk paint, and I have my favorite brush here. These are also linked down below. They're really big and they give you a nice smooth finish. So they cut your paint time pretty much in half, and I don't know about you, but I like to get my stuff done as quick as possible. So anyway, I just go ahead and give that one nice coat. I didn't do a thin coat. I did kind of a medium coat. That way I wouldn't have to go back and do another coat and then wait for that to dry as well. So I really just let my putty in the holes set up for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, and after that it was ready to paint over. And that's why I love that stuff from Dollar Tree, because it's easy to use, anybody can use it, and it dries really, really quickly. Next, while this is drying, I just take this Happy Easter truck sign. I go ahead and cut off this hanger, and then it has this little hanging Happy Easter sign on the bottom. I also cut those off as well. And you're going to see in a minute that I do end up painting the Happy Easter long sign, but you can skip that step because I did not end up using it. So after I had all my hangers and the little sign taken off, I go ahead and fill these holes in with my lightweight spackling, and then I go ahead and paint it black, especially like where the window is and around it, because once it's laying flat like this, you can kind of see the pink shining through. So I didn't want to be able to see that on our project, so I did go ahead and paint those as well.
A soothing atmosphere, smell of your aftershave, sweet blossom in the rain. You flip around your hair as if you're unaware, but you should know that I'm looking at you. You make me feel like I'm made of colors, just you and me, ignore the others. Do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause I do. I do believe in lovers like me and you. Yeah, you just keep on dancing all night out on the roof. Tell everybody I do, baby, I do. Wanna stay here and let loose. Just keep on loving all night out on the roof. Tell everybody I do. Think I have memorized, every single flare inside your burning stare. Just wanna be inside, keep dancing in your mind. You'll be my nighttime Valentine. You make me feel like I'm made of colors, just you and me, ignore the others. Do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause I do. I do believe in lovers like me and you. Yeah, you just keep on dancing all night out on the roof. Tell everybody I do, baby, I do. Wanna stay here and let loose. Just keep on loving all night.
So after I finished doing the dimension, I did want to say that I only used a little bit of white on the end of my brush, just so that way it wouldn't be so bright. But I did go ahead back with some black and just toned that white down a little bit. I just kind of wanted it to be a shadow and not so bold and bright. After I did my black, I went ahead with a brush and ink Waverly chalk paint. I didn't have any of my natural bristle brushes. I have to get some. I get them at Walmart. If you've been around for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But I just went ahead and went around the edges. In the end, you can't even see this, so you can probably skip this step if you do put a frame around it, but that's okay. It is what it is. So I went around the whole frame, and then I went in the middle of the sign and just did some dry brushing. I didn't want this white again to be so bright, so I just kind of toned the white down a little bit with some dry brushing with the same ink Waverly chalk paint. And here I'm just trying to figure out rather I want the sign long ways or the way that I have it now, and I did decide to do it that way. I thought that the wording would look better and would fit better going this way, but again, you can do it however you like. So you can see there that I had a little drop, I guess, from the back of the truck, and later on I do go ahead and fix that, so don't worry about those big blobs. But I had this letter wheel from Dollar Tree, and I had cut it in half just because it was easier to use like that. So I figured that this would be the perfect curve. It's kind of hard to freehand a curve when you're stenciling. So this was just kind of a guide to be able to get my letters to look even. So I did go ahead and use this letter wheel from Dollar Tree to spell out the word fresh flower, and then I printed off market. I also printed off a different fresh flower market sign that was too small, so I did go ahead and use the seed stems blooms open daily part for the bottom, but I did print off market, and I will leave that font and font size down below. And I just go ahead and trace those on. I didn't add that because you guys have seen me do it a million times, but I then went over everything with my fine point black paint pen. So once I had everything traced on there and filled out, I then go ahead and glue down my little truck. Now originally I was going to cut the part with the eggs off, but we're going to cover that up so it doesn't really matter. And I am using the same floral because I kind of have a spring theme going on, and these are the ones that I did in my other projects, and I do have them up, so I did want everything to match really nicely. You can use floral from Dollar Tree. I personally am not the biggest fan because I think it's not as great quality as Walmart's is, and for the price and quality at Walmart, you can't beat it, because you can get floral that looks like this at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and it's much more expensive than it is at Walmart. So again, you can use whatever floral you want, but that is where I got my floral. So I just start by gluing down, well, I pulled off all the flowers and some stems off of eucalyptus. I then went ahead and cut the little part off that sticks to the picks, because you want these to lay flat. And I then just go ahead and start randomly gluing down my flowers. And as always, you can use whatever flowers you want and put them however you want. Or if you want to follow how I did it, then you can just go ahead and watch it again once you have all your materials. So once I had my flowers down, I then went ahead and started gluing my eucalyptus down, and I did make sure that the part where the eggs was covered. So once I have all my flowers and eucalyptus down, I then just go ahead and take my frame. I always start on one side, and then I do the middle pieces and then the next piece, just so that way if I didn't cut them absolutely perfectly, the frame would still butt up together really nicely.
I did a lot of bad things, and never did I give in, just 'cause the thought of being vulnerable made me feel less than I am. I have never felt home till you entered my door.
So once I have my frame all put together, I then went ahead and took a sawtooth hanger. Now I got this pack of hangers from Amazon. Those are also linked down below. I use them all the time, and it's a really good deal for all these hangers. but I just go ahead and attach it with some hot glue. This sign is not very heavy at all, so hot glue will definitely hold it, and I did go ahead and just put that up at the top. So that is it, you guys. I am so happy to bring this to you. I found this for 40 bucks. The colors were kind of flipped, but I wanted mine white, and I was not paying $40 for it. I knew that I could make it over for much less. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please share it, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I wish that you would subscribe and become part of the family. I would love that. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.